Someone just paid $45,000 for a 2006 Carrera S and received a $30,000 repair invoice 3 weeks later. That is the reality of the 2026 market. If you buy the badge without auditing the engineering skeletons hiding in the closet, you're paying the idiot tax. In 2026, the gap between a bargain Porsche and a financial anchor has never been wider. Inflation and skyrocketing labor rates have turned what used to be minor issues into total losses. Today, I am naming 5 specific models that look like steals but will actually bankrupt you. But stick around, because after we dig through the wreckage, I'm going to show you the one specific model that actually fixed every single one of these flaws. The car that has become the ultimate safe harbor for your capital. Now, let's start with the big one, the 997.1 Carrera. You can find these cars all day in the low 40s, and they look identical to the forever Porsches that people pay 6 figures for. But there's a reason they are cheap. Beyond the IMS bearing that everyone talks about, we have to discuss Locusel cylinder bore scoring. This is the silent killer. Most people get a standard pre-purchase inspection and think they are safe. They aren't. A standard PPI is just a surface scratch. To actually see the truth, you need a specialist to scope the engine through the sump, not just the spark plug holes. If you only look through the top, you're missing the nightmare starting at the bottom of the stroke. You are looking for vertical streaking. It looks like a gray barcode of death etched into the cylinder wall. If you see those lines, the engine is done. Once you hear that faint metallic ticking at idle, it is already over. The engine is effectively eating itself from the inside out. Shavings of the cylinder wall are migrating through your oil, destroying the rest of the internals. In 2026, the math on this is a mathematical suicide mission. A proper rebuild using quality sleeves and pistons will run you $15,000 to $25,000. Stop. Let's do the math on a napkin. You buy the car for $45,000. You spend $25,000 on the engine. You are now $70,000 into a car that the market says is worth $42,000. That isn't a repair. That is a capital destruction event. You are spending more than half the value of the car just to get back to zero. It is a total loss on wheels if you aren't careful. Now, some people will tell you the early 3.6-liter engines are safer than the 3.8-liter S models, and technically, they're right. The smaller displacement has slightly more wall thickness, but both are still high-risk assets in 2026. If you are looking at a 997.1, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Unless there is a thick stack of receipts showing a Nicky's displacement increase or a full rebuild from a reputable shop, you are gambling with your net worth. You are betting that your specific engine is the 1 in 100 that won't implode. And in this economy, with independent Porsche specialists charging $190 to $230 an hour and dealers pushing $360, that is a bet you are going to lose. It's just crazy to look at these beautiful cars and realize they are essentially scrap metal waiting for a tow truck. You want a 911 because it makes you feel successful, right? Well, there is nothing that feels less successful than watching a flatbed winch your $40,000 investment away while you hold a repair estimate that costs more than a new midsize sedan. This isn't just a car repair. It is a capital destruction event. If the seller can't prove the bores are clean with photographic evidence from a recent scope, you need to turn around and walk away. Don't let the beautiful silhouette fool you into thinking the engineering is sound. It isn't, and the market is finally starting to price that risk in. If you buy one now, you are the one holding the bag. Now, moving on to the Cayenne, specifically the early Gen 1 and Gen 2 V8 models. This is the car that lures people in because a 500 horsepower turbo for $12,000 feels like the ultimate cheat code for a daily driver. You look at the leather, you feel the speed, and you think you've outsmarted the system. But you haven't. Porsche used plastic coolant pipes in the valley of the V8 that turn brittle and eventually explode. And when I say explode, I mean it. These pipes sit under the intake manifold, where the heat soak is brutal. Over time, the plastic becomes like glass. When they finally fail, they spray pressurized coolant directly onto the starter motor, and even worse, into the transmission bell housing. This isn't just a leak. It's a flood that ruins everything it touches. The idiot tax moment happens when you realize the labor involved. In 2026, you'll see these aluminum pipe kits on eBay for 20% less than last year and think you've caught a break. You think you caught a break? That $300 savings is eaten by the very first hour of the engine drop. In 2026, cheap parts are just bait for expensive labor. It is false hope. To get to these pipes, you have to tear the top of the engine apart. At an independent shop, you're looking at $2,000 to $5,000 for the job. But if those leaks have caused enough damage to require an engine drop, that bill rockets up to $7,000. And while you're in there, you'll find that the starter is already corroded from the leak, which is another while we're in there expense you didn't plan for. But the nightmare doesn't stop with the cooling system. In real-world use, these high-mileage Cayennes are notorious for air suspension compressors and cardan shafts failing at the exact same time. It's like the car has a programmed self-destruct sequence once it hits a certain age. Now, let's talk about the modern trap, the 2015 to 2018 Porsche Macan S. This is the car that everyone buys because they want the Porsche experience with a bit of utility. It looks sharp, it's fast, and in 2026 you can pick one up for what feels like a bargain. But if you aren't looking at the transmission service history, you are walking into a financial buzzsaw. The PDK transmission in these early Macans is a masterpiece of engineering until it isn't. We are seeing a massive wave of sensor and mechatronic failures as these cars cross the 80,000-mile mark. Here is the problem. If you take a failing Macan to a Porsche dealer in 2026, they aren't going to fix your transmission. Their official protocol is a full unit replacement. And because dealer labor rates have climbed to $285 or even $360 an hour, that total invoice is going to land between $15,000 and $25,000. Think about that. You just bought a $30,000 SUV, and one faulty temperature sensor just handed you a bill for nearly the entire value of the car. It is the definition of a total loss. Now, there is a secret escape hatch, but it requires you to be smarter than the average buyer. Most people just hand over their credit card at the dealer. You aren't going to do that. Independent specialists have figured out how to perform mechatronic-only repairs. They can go in, replace the specific faulty sensors or the valve body, and get you back on the road for $7,000 to $10,000. That is still a massive hit, but it's a hell of a lot better than $25,000. The real tragedy is that most of these failures are preventable. Porsche tells you the PDK fluid is good for 60,000 or even 90,000 miles. They are wrong. If you aren't changing that fluid every 30,000 miles, you are letting heat and microscopic debris chew through your electronics. In 2026, a cheap Macan is usually just a car that missed 2 of those critical fluid changes. You think you're getting a deal, but you're actually just inheriting a mechatronic unit that's already on life support. Now, let's pivot to a car that looks modern but hides a different kind of decay, the 991.1. This was the first of the electric steering 911s, and right now they are sitting in that tempting high 60s price range. At that number, you feel like you're getting a current generation supercar for a massive discount. But you have to understand the 991.1 is essentially the beta version of the modern 911. It is a rolling experiment that Porsche didn't actually finish until the 991.2 arrived. The most frustrating issues here aren't even mechanical, they are cosmetic, and they're expensive. Take a look at the door cards on any 2012 or 2013 model. Because of the specific adhesive Porsche used during those first 2 years of production, the top edge of the door panel literally pulls away from the window seal. It warps into a hideous curve that makes the car look like a cheap plastic toy left in the sun too long. Replacing those panels isn't just a quick fix. You're looking at nearly $3,000 per side for the parts alone if you want that factory fresh look. Then you have the headliner. In many of these early cars, the fabric is starting to sag and delaminate entirely. It turns your premium cockpit into a sagging tent. And while we are talking about interior plastics, the 991.1 is notorious for the sticky button syndrome, where the soft touch coating turns into a black, goopy mess that stains your fingers. Correcting these interior flaws adds a $5,000 to $7,000 cosmetic tax to your purchase price almost immediately. But before you worry about the leather, you need to worry about the PDK. The 991.1 is notorious for distance sensor failures, specifically the P1731 through P1734 codes. In 2026, if that sensor fails, a Porsche dealer will quote you $25,000 to $33,000 for a full transmission replacement. They won't open the case, they'll just swap the whole unit. You can find specialists who will do a component level repair for $7,000 to $10,000, but that is still a massive hit. The crazy part is that many of these failures start with neglecting the $1,500 fluid service. People skip it because it's expensive, and then they end up with a $33,000 bill. And then there is the early dynamic chassis control, or PDCC. These systems use hydraulic actuators to keep the car flat in corners, and the early pumps are leaking. Because the packaging is so tight, replacing a pump takes 15 hours of labor. At 2026 dealer rates, that is a $5,400 labor bill before you even buy a single part. Think of the 991.1 as the beta version. You're paying full price to be a test driver for Porsche's first attempt at a new era. Why be the tester when you can buy the finished product? When you compare this to a 991.2, which refined the build quality and updated the electronics, the 991.1 feels like a beta version. If you buy one of these without a massive reserve for interior restoration and PDK maintenance, you're going to regret it. You think you're buying a modern 911, but you're actually buying a project car with LED daytime running lights. Next up is the 987.1 Cayman. This is arguably the most beautiful mid-engine silhouette Porsche has ever produced for under $25,000. On paper, it is the perfect entry point. It is balanced, it is manual, and it sounds fantastic. But here's the brutal reality. This car is a candidate for the scrap heap. It shares the exact same M96 and M97 architecture flaws as the 997.1 we talked about earlier. You're dealing with the same IMS bearing risks and the same Lockesil bore scoring potential. But the Cayman adds a layer of complexity that makes it even more dangerous to your bank account. That layer is packaging. In a 911, the engine is hanging out the back, making it relatively accessible for a specialist. In the Cayman, that engine is buried in the middle of the chassis. To do even basic maintenance, or to inspect the top of the motor, you have to perform a full interior teardown. You are removing the carpet, the sound deadening, and the engine cover panels just to see the intake manifold. This doubles the labor cost for every single minor fix. If you have a coolant leak or a failing sensor, you're paying for 3 hours of interior disassembly before the mechanic even picks up a wrench to fix the actual problem. The math here is devastating. A 2025 analysis of over 100 inspected 987.1s found that 25% of them needed major engine work. That is 1 in 4 cars. In 2026, a base model 987.1 is valued around $20,000 to $30,000, but a full engine rebuild for bore scoring will cost you $10,000 to $20,000. Think about that. You're spending up to 100% of the car's value just to keep it from being a paperweight. In that moment, the car is effectively worth scrap value. It is a total financial loss. I see so many young enthusiasts buy these because they are affordable, but they end up hating the Porsche brand because the first major service estimate is the same price they paid for the entire car. If you want a Cayman, you have to spend the extra money for a 981 or just stay home. Buying the cheapest 987 on the market is the fastest way to turn your passion for cars into a burning hatred for German engineering. It lures you in with that mid-engine balance and then hits you with a repair bill that would make a Ferrari owner flinch. Don't be the person who buys a $20,000 Porsche and realizes they actually needed $40,000 to keep it on the road. So where should you actually put your capital? The safe havens are the 997.2 and the 981. These cars represent the moment Porsche finally cleared the skeletons out of the closet. But take a look at the market. The 981 Cayman S has become so popular for its reliability that it now commands a $10,000 to $20,000 premium over the 997.2 Carrera S. Imagine that. The entry-level mid-engine car is now more expensive than the 911 of the same era because people are terrified of repair bills. Even in these safe havens, you have to be smart. A 2025 Porsche update now mandates a $500 to $800 endoscope inspection as a cover charge before a specialist will even touch a 997.2 engine. But these are models the smart money is buying because they will actually hold their value. You are paying a premium up front, but you're saving yourself from a total loss in the long run. Check out my 718 GTS 4.0 deep dive to see why the Flat 6 is the ultimate capital investment. Subscribe to Porsche Pulse to stop overpaying for your dream.